Hey, here we are again. Pastor David Hibiske out on the West Coast, but coming back home to the
That's
East
right.
Coast. Get to know you a
Come
little
on.
bit. Yeah. So, hey, I've got some questions for you. If you were to look at your personal prayer life and the list that you have right now, like, like what's the one big thing? Like only God could do this dream that you're
Oh,
already
wow.
praying for Waymaker.Church.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I got to think through all the qualifiers of here for
Yes.
Waymaker.Church.
Yeah, so you got a
Man.
prayer list, right? And you've got, like,
hmm
that one right there, only God could do that for this church, and I'm praying it right
hmm
now. I'm I'm
hmm
I'm on my face.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely think, right, and this is the big heart. Like I mentioned in one of our other ones that I just love that value and transformation's our expectation. And
Mhm,
if we've said, hey, we want to help people experience the new and deeper in Jesus, right? That I think there would be a wholehearted following of Jesus leading to greater freedom and faith for people in our church. Because I think like when you feel like, Psalm 40 says you pick me up out of the like, I think in the NIV it says like the slimy pit. Like
mhm.
we've all been in that pit, like this idea, like when Jesus brings us up out of the pit, when we've experienced his grace and his love and we're walking in that new freedom and faith, when we follow him wholeheartedly, man, we are fully in, surrendered to
Mhm.
him, experiencing him. And I believe that all of the missions work and the great impact of our church. Like we love to talk about the impact. Hey, your generosity did this, and we sent out teams to do this, and we blah this in our community, and all these things. But if we can wholeheartedly follow him, like full on, and our church can
Mhm.
do that, that is going to fuel all these other things.
Yeah.
And so I just am praying like that God would stir in me and in our church to be a people who go full in to follow Jesus, hold nothing
Yeah.
back.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
and then there's a lot of other things and I think about and pray about like what the future could look like as a result of that. But I think that's one of the big ones. Because
Yeah, no, it's
evangelism will
good.
fly out of that. So
Oh, I love that. I love that. So let's talk about the future.
yeah.
5 years from now, what are you hoping that Waymaker Church what stories of life change
Mm,
do you hope is, like, on the forefront of Waymaker.Church in 5
mm.
years?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. In 5 years,
what does that look like for you?
man, I think the potential is huge. I think about it in 5 years, like the opportunity. Then at that point, that in our worship services are one of the primary places of engagement outside of meeting somebody out in the community or you're being
Mhm,
invited by somebody, right? Is like there is a life in them. People are encountering Jesus in the worship. Like we're seeing people truly take steps to repent, ask for prayer, come forward, be moved spiritually.
mhm.
Like we're growing and moving together. People are then moving into small group communities. And I would hope that our small groups are thriving. And not only are they thriving, but they're multiplying. Like so
Oh,
we're
come on.
thinking in our small groups, like this group is here for me and my growth in this season and my comfort, but it doesn't mean we're always going to stay here for 20 years together. And I love that idea, but also like us reaching our community because revival happens when it goes, God, we need you, but then we're continuing to outwardly look to,
Yeah.
our community. So the multiplying aspect of how do we create more groups? Because I truly do believe every person, like if they're really going to grow in their faith, we mentioned in I think session 1 of our Q&A is like the passion of getting people into the Bible. But then when you get into the Bible, but then when you get around other believers, like this is where like people walk in freedom. Like this is why James
Mhm.
says confess your sins to one another and pray for each other. This is
Yep.
where like when I think about like this Lazarus, like the funny illustration of this, but like Jesus calls Lazarus out of the tomb, and he's on all his grave clothes, and he said, now you go take the clothes off of him, right? You go unwrap him. And I think in our small groups, so many times, like we're helping unwrap each other from our burial clothes. Like we're helping each other walk in that life. So I think groups are thriving. I really do believe like the next generation is being reached, and not only do like kids and students like love like Way Youth and Way Kids, but they love, and they'd say, where do you go to church? They're like, Waymaker. Like I'm part of that. So I have a huge heart too when we do things for men or for women or like gatherings or things like that. Is junior high and up, bring them. Like I think that we have failed to call up our young men and women from when they were hitting puberty. They're biologically becoming men and women. To call them though into faith as a man and woman, to call them into the body of the church. And so I just see this like, man, this multi-generational context that's happening. And as a result of that, in 5 years, what I would love to see is the home is where more of the next gen is being led to Jesus than even the church. So like, because that means what that means is what we've done is from our service to our groups, this next generational impact, is we've also impacted parents to say they want to be part of what's happening in their kids' lives. They're intentionally being spiritual in the home. And so all these things, and I truly do believe, I'm like, if we have these things happening, it's going to spill into the community. So then when we go to think about, hey, what are the needs in the community that we're reaching? We're beginning to target several key needs and go after them as a church. So the church is now being known as like, man, they're bringing, like we talked about one of our sessions earlier, they're bringing a way to my area of need, and we're introducing them to the Waymaker. On a leadership standpoint, one of the things I think is such vast potential of the uniqueness that I see so far of Lynchburg in that area is a liberty connection. And for Waymaker's ability to become a sending platform for those in ministry. Like I love with the Waymaker Institute and with the connection with Liberty, like thinking about the ability to develop future pastors and missionaries and church planters. I think there's something that in some ways we've lost, that calling to ministry, vocational, surrender, give your life to this and now be equipped and sent, is something that I think has got to be so awakened. But our ability to do that, I mean, like DC is only 3.5 hours away. So think about church planting your pathway to DC, like Charlottesville, and then I can't remember what the next city is. And you got Richmond over there, and then you got Alexandria and DC. And if you can influence this whole area, but also like I'm sitting here at Saddleback now, and I told somebody, I was like, hey, you know what a dream of mine would be? Is that one day you call me, you say, hey, I'm looking for whatever type of role. And I'm like, oh man, we got 3 people right now who would crush at that.
Right.
And
that's so good.
For churches to be able to call us, because I think there's such a uniqueness of reaching young people, developing them in the ministry, and becoming ascending. So if we were known even more for our sending capacity than even our seeding capacity, like that would be an amazing vision. And I think that's a long-term vision.
Right.
But if in 5 years we're making a dent in a pathway and the vision of being forged to being able to do that, would be awesome.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
Man, I'm ready. I'm fired up.
That's great, man, because I listened to your Easter message and I've got a head usher position ready for you.
It's good. Oh man, that's so. Hey, listen, you need a good head usher. You need a good head usher.
I tell you one thing. I just want to say, if you're an usher here at Waymaker, your role is critical. I think it's one of the hardest roles because you're literally having to be eyes on people. Then you're having to be the bad guy and ask people to move and slide over and make sure. No, I need you to come to these seats right here. Yeah. Like you got to be a little bit like.
And then Americans, they always think they're the exception, right? It's like, well, I'm the exception to your little protocols here. It's like, so just be helpful.
Yeah. So if you're an usher, I just want to say, don't be afraid of confrontation. You're doing a great job.
Mhm.
Be kind with a big smile. You're doing a great job. You're needed.
Yes. Yes. It's funny because my family informed me, after, if the story was I kind of made these people take the bucket, and later on they're like, they had already gotten the bucket, right? I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
That's even better. That's even better.
It's like, oh my goodness. All right, hey, let's talk George. Can we talk
Okay,
George
go.
for a second?
Yeah, let's do it.
Who, like, in your house, George is your golden retriever.
He is.
And he's technically white, but he's of the golden family.
He is an
You know.
English cream golden retriever, which is
Okay. Yes.
the breed that has white hair. It's beautiful. What a man, Dolly.
Yeah. He is, man. I mean, he's got it going on. He's got it going on. Who is his favorite person, do you think? If you were to just to say in the household, who's his favorite person?
Well, probably me. I am his. Well, what I would say is I am his alpha. Like, there's no doubt in his mind.
Yeah.
Like, I am the one. So,
who's in charge?
Yeah, I'm in charge. He's going to come to me. He's going to be right there. He wants to be by me. All these things. I think of our kids and everybody else would be Avery, our middle daughter.
Okay.
And I think that he views her more like another puppy. She likes to get on the ground and roll with him and wrestle with him and all these things.
Yes.
And so he gets very excited, like, just to play with her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because she just wrestles with him.
Yep.
And
so you're the leader. She's the friend.
Yeah, very much.
Okay.
So the play companion.
Yes. Okay. That's good. Hey, what's something funny he's done in the last couple weeks that you're just like, dude, that dog's awesome. He's hilarious.
Oh gosh. Past couple weeks. Well, he's always chasing his tail, doing something crazy, making noises. I think he has like allergies, like seasonal allergies, like I do. And he comes in, like, especially right now, because my allergies are pretty bad, like today, if you can hear it, like, but he'll come in, he starts like almost like this sneezing, snorting sound, and it's just hilarious when he does it. So I think he's got seasonal allergies, so I can totally relate with him on that. The thing he's been doing recently that I'm like, bro, what are you doing? So as we're prepping to get our house sold and it's on the market, we had redone a few things, like some flowers and plants and stuff like that, around the house. And this joker keeps going out, and there's two flowers. He keeps peeing on them, and he's killed brand new flowers. So now I'm out in the backyard, and I'm like, George, no. Like, I'm pointing this area where he wants to go pee, and I'm like, no, over there. And he's gonna be like, he'll be like, oh, like, what? I'm like, no, not the flowers. So, anyways.
Oh my goodness. Hey man, he's, it's just his way of saying, come on, man, give me a break.
I'm like, man, we're all in this together, George. I need you to be a team player.
Oh, okay. Let's talk some leadership. What's a personal boundary or habit that you have developed, maybe over time or recently, that just keeps you loving the local church, just keeps that fresh, because as Christ followers, but also as leaders in the church, Christ himself has given the church apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors and teachers, right?
Yeah.
And when you're called to that, it is your responsibility to stay in the vine. It's your responsibility to make sure that you love the house and love the people in the house, even when they're a little bit crazy. Right? So how do you keep, what's something that just, you maybe, into the rhythms of your life, which is like, man, this just keeps me knowing the local church is the hope of the world. There is no plan B. What is it?
Yeah. I think there's probably a couple things. I think first is taking care of my own heart and taking care of my own rest. I think when you are stressed and you're not rested, it's really hard to keep your heart engaged at that way, right? So
Yeah.
trying to take
Mhm.
care of myself. I think the other thing is just trying to put people, like, pay attention to the people you are getting around, and also the
Yes.
people that you are allowing to speak into your life. So you're always, this is the hard thing. And I wish that everybody who attends a church could understand, like, the voices that come into somebody who leads in a church. Like, you
Yes.
always are going to have naysayers. You're always going to have people who you trying your best, and they're always going to come. And usually they come at you like passive aggressive, not great, angry, yelling at you. And you're like, dude, we're trying. I'm really sorry that you're one thing.
Hmm.
Like, we couldn't do that. And
Right.
your choice to respond that way is going to ultimately lead to a pathway of events for your life. And I'm really sorry for that.
Right.
But, like,
Right.
try not to let that spill onto your own soul and your own life, because we live in this day and age too with, like, social media and things. Like, people just, we've lost our ability to even disagree, but to have, like, a healthy conversation. And I just wish people could experience that. But I think
Hmm.
making sure you're not just getting those voices, but you've got people around you who fully believe, not just in you, but they're following Jesus. They fully believe in you, even to the point they're willing to, like, give you correction or like good criticism, because you need
Hmm.
that. I mean, Proverbs says, man, talks about, like, the wounds of a friend are to be trusted. Like, the wise seek out, like, feedback or construction, and, like,
Right.
you want this, right? So you need that. But then also the people who are like, man, they're in it with you. They believe in the
Yep.
mission. They want to see God do it. So I think paying attention to who do I have around me. And then the last one I'd say is just, how do I keep myself in the trenches of one, like, you're in there praying for somebody, you're in there preaching, and you're seeing somebody, you, like,
Yep.
this weekend at Easter I got to do baptisms, and you're seeing, I'm baptizing some people, and you can just see it in their faces. You're like, Jesus has changed this person's life. There's tears in
Yes.
their eyes as they're getting baptized.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes you have to keep yourself around it. You got to keep yourself around people who are encouraging you, and you got to keep your own self rested through time off, your spiritual disciplines, your mental health and
Hmm.
focus, like, all these things. And they all kind of come together to keep
Yep.
your heart engaged. And I think to also just recognize that the church is an imperfect place, just like a family is imperfect, but it is God's answer for the
Hmm.
multiplication of his kingdom. So the family is God's answer for the multiplication of mankind into
Yes.
the world. I mean, from Genesis. Well, the church is that same thing for his kingdom and for the community. And
Right on.
so it's my passion.
Yes. So good. So good. Keep doing that. Keep doing that.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
All right. You ready for some rapid fire questions?
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Don't overthink them. Okay. So you
Mm-mm.
go to a new
Nope.
city. Are you going to local coffee shop or franchise Starbucks?
Local.
Okay. Old hymns or modern worship?
Modern worship.
Okay.
But I do like when
Verse
they
by
throw in, like, a
oh,
tag of a
yes.
something like that,
Like
like a
Mighty
mashup
Fortress
kind
or
of thing.
something.
Yeah, I do
Yes.
something like that. I do like that.
Um, verse by verse or topical?
It depends on the talk and the topic. I do, and I think there's a place for both. This is a point for me. It's like, you got to choose. If I had to choose, you said you can only do one.
You had to choose. Yeah.
I would go verse by verse. Reason
Okay.
being, back to session one or whatever I said, if I can get people reading the Bible, engaging with it truly, it'll
Mhm.
transform their life. So if I had to pick one, I couldn't do both. I would do
Okay.
that.
That's good. Of these two books, which is your favorite, Genesis or Revelation?
Oh gosh. I would probably say sheerly on the fact of what I can better understand Genesis.
Right. Yes, that's good.
I I read Revelation, and sometimes you read it and you're like, what I know is in the end, we win.
We win. Yep,
We
that's
win.
it.
There's a
Yep,
lot of crazy things, but we win. Genesis,
we
I
win.
love though. Yeah. But I also love
That's good.
history. So like the narrative historical portions
Mhm.
of later in Genesis, I'm a big history kind of I love understanding that. So
Yeah. No, that's good.
that's
That's good.
that's
Okay, this could be, controversial, but Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter?
oh gosh. Chronicles of Narnia. Was that one of the options in there?
Oh, okay,
I would probably
okay.
can I throw a third alternative? But
That
I would
you can do that. There
if
hey,
I
listen, this is your interview.
I would throw a Chronicles of Narnia. I feel like that's my favorite of those three. And
Okay.
then I would go
Alright.
Lord of the Rings, and then I would go Harry Potter.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
That would be my order.
No, that's good. That's good order. That's a good order. All right, final question. In one word, what do you want people to feel when they leave Waymaker Church? Because people leave churches. What do you want them to feel when they leave Waymaker Church?
Mm. I'm thinking about this one word.
Mhm.
Um, I think I have two one words. The
Okay.
first one I think is the primary is loved, because I think that's the biblical command of love God
Right
and
on.
love people. So you've got to feel that. The other the other words, like I think there's two that like I was like wrestling with, and I think it depends on why somebody leaves, right?
That's a big
One
deal. Yep.
is so loved is for all, hopeful for some. Like if God's making you transition and or you're transitioning
Mhm.
to someplace, there's a new
Yep.
level of hope. Because I'm walking in that freedom. And then the other word I was thinking about was equipped, like
That's
that
good.
you would leave. Because again, if we're ascending place, like
Mhm.
people won't stay forever. I think that's the thing. Like I always try to help encourage people on is like staff won't be here forever.
Right.
Like people in our church won't be here forever. It's
Mhm.
always sad. We need to grieve when people leave,
Right.
but if they're equipped and hopeful, but I think loved is the one that is like you just gotta. People need to feel that, and
That's really
there
good.
you go.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, there's a house, right? And then there's oftentimes a call on that house,
Hmm.
but people come in and out of it, right? And
For
some,
sure.
I was talking to people in the lobby on Sunday, Easter Sunday, and people who've been there honestly since the first year, still there, since I've been there.
Love it.
And then people who were there, literally that was their first day,
Yep.
and it's like, yeah, yeah, that's it, that is it, and I like your
Absolutely.
answers, people feel loved, people feel, um, equipped,
Yeah.
people feel hopeful, like, that
Yeah.
they don't leave the church and go, "Man, I mean, I tried this and, this didn't work well,"
Yeah.
and lose faith, so it's good.
Well, that's the hardest thing about. I mean, John, like when you lead in the church, and people have probably experienced it, but not many who maybe are listening have been like the leader. Like not everybody leaves
Mm,
because it was like, oh,
yeah,
I'm going to a new season. I'm
right.
really
I'm
excited.
sent, yes.
Some people leave because it's like, I don't like this or I got hurt. And like I
Mhm,
think in that why the loved is that I don't want people to leave because they got bitter. I don't want people to leave because they
mhm,
got like disappointed. And you're gonna do through decades of ministry, there are gonna be some people who leave because they they hurt and it's hard or something
yeah,
happened that some of it they can't even control. They're just gonna be like, I really don't like the way David talks. His voice annoys me. And I'll be like, it annoys me too. I'm trying.
hey, me too,
I
right?
don't
Like,
know.
you're
I
like,
don't
when
know
you
what
hear
to do.
yourself back and you're like, "Oh, man."
Yeah, you're like, I'm trying, man. So So we
Oh,
just
it's
want to
good.
do the best we can to honor Jesus and love
Right.
people.
Yeah. No, I think that's good. I think, that's a whole topic in itself. Yeah, there was a guy on our staff years ago, and he had been a pastor for 20 years. And,
Mm,
he sat down with me. He says, "Hey, there's a few questions that I always try to ask people or walk them through if they give me the opportunity, as they leave a church or leave our church." And they were just such good questions. One of them is, "Hey, is there any unresolved relationships? Like
yeah.
let's get those resolved so you don't take that." And sometimes that's why people leave. It's like, this relationship is not resolved, and I don't know how, or I don't want to resolve it. And if you can pastor them through that, maybe it'll change their decision, maybe it won't, but either way, they go to their next assignment going, I did the work. And
Yeah.
that's always what I try to do for people, if they'll let me. Like, "Hey, is everything, and, hey, did the vision outgrow you? Did you outgrow the vision, or maybe both?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's okay, because God has a different, and he had these questions, and I was just like, "Man, those are such good questions if people
Well,
will let you do it." Yeah.
it's so good. And I think this is one of the things that really got ingrained in Kendall and I. I think living in the Bay Area, so San Francisco, San Jose, like that whole Bay Area, we as believers were such a minority. I mean,
Yeah.
different organizations will put it at 92%, 93%, 90%, somewhere in the 90s of unchurched, meaning not de-churched. Like I went to church, I grew up with it, like unchurched,
Yeah.
internationals, other religions, all these things. So,
Yes.
and even more of a hostility in some way, in some places, or direct opposition to the gospel. And I think one of the things that marked in us, it's good, and especially stepping back into a Bible Belt kind of area, is the building up and unifying of the greater church, not just our church. So, like, one of the things that if people want to know about me is like, I can't stand now, after being in that, when people badmouth other churches,
Right. Yep.
because I'm like, you don't know. Have you talked to them? Have you been with them? Have you been there? Have you,
Right.
like, and I think there's this edification of the bride of Christ, the
Mhm.
building of the church, that is so essential. So in all these things, when people leave, and if somebody leaves, like, go out, like you said, clear relationship, speaking
Mhm.
highly, like speak highly of the the church overall. Like, this is Jesus'
Right.
church.
Right.
And we may have
Yep.
different denominations, we may have some different things, like nuances, where we are not like, we're not 100% agreement on, but those are typically more the minor issues and not the
Mhm.
majors. And so
Right.
I think the passion of unifying the church of a region is huge, and the way that people leave Waymaker has to be in a way that continues to build up that unifying of the church as a whole.
Well said. Well
So
said.
there you go, little
Well,
passion
hey,
there.
yeah, that's good. That's good. It's part of the love,
Yeah.
wanting people to feel loved. But hey, this has been great. Getting to know, what's in the heart and the mind of Pastor David Hibiske, his family, and how you guys are praying, how you're preparing to, come to a new, not just a new area of the country, a new assignment,
Yeah.
stepping
Yeah.
into a lead pastor role as a lead pastor family. And I think this is exciting, and I can't wait to see this church a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Kind of pop in and maybe usher, maybe do some
Yeah.
ushering.
You know, I'm telling you, man, I got you signed up for Easter 2027. Like,
Okay,
you're already in planning center.
okay, that's good. That's good. I'll have the little flashlight. That may be the first thing you do. Like, we're turning the lights on. Okay.
Trip hazard.
Hey, I love you guys. I can't wait to see you here in April
Yep.
23rd through the 27th,
Yep.
and it's gonna be great. Love you.
Love you, man.